All right, the first step to thinking really big is considering how many domain names can I get dealing with something. And that's kind of hard for a lot of people to figure out. If you're not really sure what you want to sell, you want your websites to be kind of catch-all, then for that stack of websites, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, however many, 100, you're going to want general names. So you're going to want to say something like industry leaders, best provider in town. Okay, you're going to want domain names that work on that. That way you can have different projects and they'll all fit. Industry-leaders.com could have this. Chicago-plumber.industry-leader.com. Okay, you could also have Denver-roofing.industry-leader.com. So see, industry-leader.com can work for tons of purposes. Doesn't really matter what they are. Apparently industries, if we're using the word industry, but what about provider? We could go with bestprovider.com or best provider in town or best local provider, top local provider. See, there are all these things. Now, what most people do is they go somewhere like GoDaddy and they try to figure out what they want to say. They want to say something like industry-leaders.com, and then they go and it's available, but for way too much money. And you're like, shoot, what do I do? And so most people spend all their time looking for domain names. Well, here's the thing. I need 100. Get me 100 or give me 96 in this case. Okay, I'm using 96 already pre-bought so that the DNS already propagated so I can do the demos without having to wait for that. Okay. And I got them for an industry. So that's the flip side. The flip side is you're getting the domain names for a very particular industry. Okay? So if you know that, great. Let me show you if, and even that's tricky, isn't it? What about like a best garage door repair.com? Do I use dashes between every word or not? Who knows? But let me just see. And sure enough, it's taken and it's way too expensive for a domain name, right? This is what most people do and why they never get big. This is as far as they know how to go. Here's the better way to go. We're going to go to a place called Name Mesh, where we're going to mesh up verbiage that works for our names. And we're going to put stuff in here. Let's say I want to go with fast garage door repair. Okay. Name Mesh is going to do this. It's going to throw me an advertisement for Bluehost that I do not need. Then it's going to give me a ton of potential combinations that I like. And guess what? Everything it highlights here, these are not bought. These are available right now. Literally everything that it's discovering that's already taken, it is hiding them. Okay? So look at this. How fast do you think I could get 100 useful domain names here, especially if they're going to backlink one or more companies in the garage door industry nationwide? Wow, most of these are going to work, right? So what would I do? I would just grab a list of like maybe 200 or so, because then I'm going to weed through it, right? And I'm just going to paste it somewhere. So let's say I open up my file. I just paste it as text. And I'm going to put it in Excel so I can just deal with it easily. Okay? And guess what I can do from here? I can already just go through the list and I can already decide what I don't like and just control click, right? And I can delete it, right? Just delete. Shift cells up. Okay? And if I want, I could even highlight it and just order it alphabetically. So all the words that keep coming up over and over again, if there are certain words I do not like, I can just get rid of them. Oh, do you see how fast that is? So when I get that done, how fast can you buy them? Here's the action, right? I would go ahead and get it. I would come back to GoDaddy, make sure I logged in, which I did, and I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to domains. Bulk domain search. I'm going to paste in my list of up to 500 domains right here and go. Now, when I logged in, I already set myself up with a profile. So when it goes to buy, it knows I want 1 year registration, manual renewal, and it's got my name server set. Okay. So I'm going to complete that purchase and I'm going to have those domain names. By the way, where do you set that setting? Account settings here. Just real quick. And down here, domain defaults. So that way you can create a profile that you can use as your default profile, right? And I could add a profile, make it the default. What's my profile say? It says this. whenever I buy a domain, register it for 1 year, not 2, not 3, not 5, not 10. Make it 1. Always renew it manually because, hey, I don't know how I'm going to feel about the project after a year. Okay, I can re-op it after a year, but don't make it happen to me. Okay, and always and set the name servers so that all the websites are already going to go. All the domain names are going to point at the server I desire. Right? That's the same thing we say here. Just to tie this together, if you're like, where did I see that before? That's this. If you were to buy one legacy UAP, get the details, right? And you scroll down, when it says put your domain name in here, get a domain name, it's telling you set the name servers. That's the same thing. So you would just you would check mark the domain name, reach up and hit or hover over the name server option and hit edit name servers and then just change them, okay? Anyway, I always buy with my name server so I don't have to change them later. It's got all my basic information in here and boom, I saved it, right? So there you go. That's a piece of cake. Now I ask you, how long did it take for us to select 100 good domain names for our purposes and already have them in Excel? We want them in Excel. You know why? Because we're going to keep using them. We're going to create cPanels with them. So we want cPanel usernames and passwords. We're going to want to install stuff to them. So yeah, we want to keep this list of our websites and what these projects are for. Maybe even save the whole Excel file under a certain project, a certain job type. We're going to put 3,500 websites on our server eventually. But this is 96 for a particular reason. I'll call it like GDR-set1. Okay? Something like that. All right. So I think you guys see what's going on there. How long does it take, do you think, to choose and buy 100 domain names if you do it that way? Minutes. 10? Once you get your profile set in your GoDaddy account and you go to buy this and it's got all the name servers set, you're done with GoDaddy. I mean, literally, you went through the single motion from NameMesh to GoDaddy and you were done in like 10 minutes with 100 perfectly useful domain names. How's that? That's called industry leader standard. And it beats going to GoDaddy manually, trying to search for a domain name one at a time, which is what most people do. Okay? Thinking bigger, there are tools for that. Okay? That's what I'm walking you through. Some of these you're going to know. Some of these are our homebrew. But you're going to like where it goes. All right, so that's the action of selecting 100 domain names or 200 or however many you wanted. It's pretty efficient. Okay.